airport surface access and mobile applications. The paper looks at the airport surface access problem, which I will explain in a minute, with the mobile applications. That means all those services that airports provide for passengers traveling with a smartphone. The problem in airport surface access is mainly provoked by the number of cars going to and from the airport. Just taking some figures, in the EU, more than 65% of passengers are traveling to and from the airport by car at big airport. At a small airport, it's even bigger. And in the US, this figure is much higher. So, as airports are growing, the levels of congestion and pollution of those cars is a major issue. At the same time, parking is an important source of revenue for airports. So, when airports try to tackle this problem, they face a dilemma. Should they promote the public transport, but reducing maybe the parking fees? So, that's what we'll be discussing in the next few minutes. At the same time, if we look outside, we can see a recent trend. In 2013, 78% of passengers travel with a smartphone on their hands. And it has been a very quick growth in the following year, as you can see on the graph. So looking at those problems and those trends, the objectives we plan to tackle in this paper are the following. We want to look at what services airports around the world are provided to those passengers wearing a smartphone. In those services, what are the surface access information presented in those applications? Third, are those applications helping to reduce private cars, which was a major issue? And are those applications used to generate complement source of revenue within the airport access? Let's see. The methodology used has been the following. We took the 100 largest airports around the world. Figures were from 2010. And we checked which mobile services they were providing by each of the different regions. Third, we took some research on evaluation of mobile applications, and it was adapted for our purpose, is to analyze the airport surface access. And it was applied for a sample of 31 European airports. The first result showed that 70% of those 100 airports were providing mobile website and 44%, less than 50%, mobile application. That means for the mobile iPhone, Android phones. If we break down the figures in regions, we saw in the Americas, the main mobile services was mobile websites. In Asia Pacific, it was more or less split with a lower level. And in Europe, it was the highest penetration of those services with 70% and 87%. In order to get a most homogeneous geographical region, we took airports from Europe and we evaluate 31 iPhone applications. The iPhone application was chosen because certain information was already available there, which was not the case for the other mobile services. And this model from Scolari 2014 was adapted for this purpose of evaluation. So those 31 applications were downloaded in a mobile device, an iPhone 5, and following this Scolari 2004 model, adapted to our needed. Each one was carefully evaluated. The general results of those evaluations are the following. First, airports have been on average 2.6 years providing mobile application for iPhones, being Aéroport de Paris the first one back in 2009, so it has been 5 years. And at the time of the research, 85% of those airports, they were providing iPhone applications. All of them, they were providing the application for free, and most of them, they provide the applications in the local language and English. Only, however, 26% provided other languages. Here, a good example is Aéroport de Paris that provides the applications in more than 10 languages. When it comes to how often they update the applications, which could give us an indication about the quality up to a certain extent, they update on average the application up to 4 times. Now, if we look into those applications and what is the information related to airport surface access, we saw the following information. 100% of the airports were providing parking information, so we can see some focus there. But, well, public transport also was provided by 90%, and a bit lower taxi information, rent a car, and a much lower the case of drop-off or pick-up passengers, also called keys and flies. So these are the information provided on those applications about airport access. But one thing we wanted to analyze, it was if airports were using those applications to try to increment the passengers using public transport in order to reduce the use of cars. So in order to do that, we look at the functionality being included in those applications. And we saw that the travel planner functionality, both for road information as well as for public transport information, was provided by less than 30% of those airports in both cases. The example of the picture is London Heathrow. Then, real-time information, that means how is the road situation at the moment, or when is the next train coming up. It was even by less number of airports provided. We said that less than 20% for public transport and less than 10% for the road. Here we have came of Stockholm telling me when is the next train, for instance. Weather, which could influence the way I travel to and from the airport. I mean, if it's raining, I might not get wet, but also I might buy incentive to get public transport. So we thought it was quite easy, but it was only provided by 58% of those airports. By the way, this is wrong and should be 42. And last, we wanted to know about revenue. I mean, how if those applications were helping to generate revenue. And we saw that the only booking functionality included was parking by 68% of the airports. So they have not started yet to sell train tickets or things like that. So as conclusion, we can say that first, airports have a high adoption of mobile services. Second, those mobile services include airport access information. 3, these applications, however, don't promote actively the use of public transport by allowing travel planners and ticketing. And 4, parkies had the main focus in those mobile applications and presence of about information and also about the booking functionality as the only commercial revenue from the airport surface access area. Now I just want to thank you very much, merci beaucoup, and please feel free to go to this website to download the paper, to download the presentation, and to send me any question. If you happen to be at the ATRS when you listen to this presentation, just make the questions to myself directly. Thank you.